Have you ever seen something in your dreams that was so strange, scary, or just otherworldly that even to this day it still has a place in the recesses of your mind? In this video, I'll be sharing some of the creatures that I have personally seen in my dreams over the years that have really stuck with me. This video is going to be pretty short, but I thought it was a pretty unique idea that I wanted to talk about for a while now. I never had a way to show these creatures off, but now that I post videos, I think this is a great opportunity to share the monsters with you guys. Before we start, I want to mention two things. First, I'm drawing these creatures, so they're not going to look the best since I'm not the greatest artist. Just be prepared for that. Second, I'm going to talk about the ones that have the least depth first. Then I'll talk about the ones that are much more fleshed out. Got all that? Great. Let's throw some sand in our eyes and drink our hot milk to fall asleep so we can enter the dreamscape. This first creature is not from a dream, breaking my own rules already, but I thought it was too cool not to include, so I wanted to talk about it. It's more of an honorable mention. This creature, from what I remember, looked like a shark, being cyan in color, having yellow quills on its back, orange and yellow stripes on its body, and orange eyes on the side of its head. The beast had a gaping mouth with red lips, filled with sharp teeth. This is my drawing of the creature. This memory is pretty fuzzy, but I remember my brother drawing this creature on one of those post-it easel boards that we had in our basement at the time, when I was around 6 or 7 years old. I remember him drawing this creature and then telling me that it lived in the corner of our basement. And at the time, our basement was pretty cluttered, so to a young kid's mind, a monster could really call home to the shadows. Now for why my brother drew this. I have absolutely no clue. Matter of fact, I really don't know why I remember this in the first place. It could have been a false memory or, for that matter, a dream, but I'm pretty sure it was real. Now that we've got that one out of the way, let's go to the real first creature. The first creature I want to talk about is pretty boring. Don't worry, not all the dreams are going to be like this. Anyways, I don't remember anything from this dream besides the monster, and me looking up the monster on a computer for some reason. So, all I remember from the dream is me standing in a flooded basement. The water was up to my lower waist. I remember the walls being dark blue in color. Then, as I'm standing there, a massive black salamander emerges from the water, with yellow glowing eyes. Then I blanked out. When I came to, I was on a computer looking up reptiles in Minnesota for some reason. I do vaguely remember how the site looked though. It had reptile images in small squares, situated in rows. The top of the site was a red-yellow gradient, with some type of green text. This is kinda how it looked. As I'm looking through the website, I see the creature's image, that ending the dream, or what I remember from it. I can't really comment on the design since I didn't see it, but if anything, it's just a really big salamander, so it's average, I would say. This next one is the oldest one. I think I was around 8 when I had this dream. What I can remember from it was that I was in a city. The whole landscape had an orange hue. The sky was also plain orange. I remember I couldn't move any part of my body. I felt like a puppet or scarecrow in a way, like there was just no joints in my body. Then I saw this creature appear down the street. The creature was orange, extending far past my view, having an uncountable number of legs all around its body. The beast had yellow stripes on its legs, and one massive stripe around its neck. Its head had 2 eyes on both sides, with cyan pupils, and a faint lime circle around the middle of the eyes. Its legs were rotating around its body, like they were connected to a wheel. Then I woke up before it could reach me, and threw up everywhere. I guess you would say it was more of a nightmare. Anyways, I love how this creature looks. It looks just so otherworldly. I just love how it goes on, never being able to see the end of the creature. always find it creepy when something of that size takes notice of you. We are just so insignificant to it. When it notices us, it feels like a god is gazing upon you. This marks the end of this dream. Now, let's move on to the next one. I don't remember when this dream happened. I remember it started with me on the side of the road. It was around midday, a little foggy. As I was walking down the road, I saw a gate with a yellow "Do Not Enter" sign posted on the front. I decided to hop the fence. I found that the path was long and straight, with a right turn at the end of it. One side of the path was surrounded by trees, and the other had an open plain. When I was around midway through, I blanked out. When I came to, I was in an old attic with a single lantern hanging from the ceiling. I then spotted a hatch on the floor. When I opened the hatch, I blanked out again. When I woke up, I was running through the house to the back door. The interior of the house looked old and decrepit. It actually looked a lot like Granny if you ever played it. Anyways, I eventually passed the living room that had a recliner and TV in it. In the middle of the room, I saw a man staring right at me. From what I can recall, the man had a dark navy shirt with a leather apron. I remember him having a black mask over his face and piercing, glowing red eyes. I eventually make it to the open back door, where it led into pitch black woods. And this is where the dream ended. This one is pretty cool. I always remember the eyes. I don't know why that in Pacific. That's just always stuck with me. For the rest of the look, it just looks like a typical slasher with the rugged, dirty clothes, apron, etc. Also, FYI, I added the chainsaw to the drawing since it made it look better. I don't remember if it had a weapon or not. This next creature is super strange, but probably my favorite out of all of them. So, the dream starts with me hiking in the mountains of California around the outskirts of Los Angeles. The hills seemed super lush while the sun was starting to set. I then looked up, seeing flashing lights. I suddenly blank out. As I come to, I find myself overlooking a valley. It seemed that I didn't blank out for too long, since the sky was still a blazing orange and yellow. As I turn my head, I see this creature staring right into my soul. It was plain white with veins of red all over its body. Its body was shaped like a sphinx, having a vaguely human face, with soulless eyes and a gaping mouth. There were 3 horns on its head, with 1 red crystal in the middle of each. The creature then shot a red beam at me, ending the dream. This one reminds me of the Uncanny Valley. It looks human, but it's not quite there. It gives me a sense of danger, like there's something just not right. Well, there obviously is something not right about it. Anyhow, it also reminds me vaguely of biblically accurate angels, with the way it looks. Adding to that, it feels like an alien abduction story. When people see flashing lights in the sky, then in an instant they blank, them waking up somewhere totally different. I guess you can say that in that world, abductions aren't from aliens. They're from these creatures using some type of internal lights to stun their prey. Adding to this, you can say when people saw angels, they saw these creatures, believing it was a messenger of God. I am getting ahead of myself, so let's go to the final creature. This dream started with me and 5 others going into an abandoned US bunker during the day. As we enter, I blank. When I come to, me and the others are crawling through vents. I remember we crawled for a while in there. We eventually find our way out, deep below the ground in the base. As we step foot in a big room full of vents, we hear shaking, bangs, and movement from the vents behind us. As we look behind us, we see this staring right back at us, illuminated by our flashlights. The creature was around 2 times bigger than me. I'm around 5'8", so it was around 11 to 12 feet tall. The creature was covered in unkempt blue hair. The arms of the creature were long, and its legs were stubby. The ends of its fingers were tipped with claws. Its face was a blue skull, and its chest had a gaping hole in it, where you can see its ribs and spine. I remember the blank stare it gave and the feeling of just pure dread, like you know you're just screwed. Then I blanked again. The next thing I remember is the group running down a decrepit hallway. Eventually, we find a room that looked very similar to the US Senate room, just much smaller. We eventually find something to hold the door. Me and another person go on a ledge and hide behind an American flag, and the other three go down another path. Eventually, the creature breaks down the door and takes off down the hallway to the others, not seeing us. This was the end of the dream. This creature always stuck with me. It reminds me of a failed experiment that took the whole base out, the monster now being the sole guardian of the bunker. That could be why the base was abandoned. It was just too dangerous to go back. For that matter, this dream also kind of feels like it has a story to it. Just ordinary people exploring abandoned places and finding the one they should have not went into. This creature looks super uncanny. I don't know how my brain came up with something that looks so menacing. You can also say the same for the previous creature. I love the skull face, gaping chest cavity, the claws, and so on. It's super metal. Regardless, this dream was the main reason why I wanted to make this video. It just stuck with me ever since I saw it. And now that I upload, I wanted to finally share it, along with some other things that I've seen in my dreams. That marks the end of this video. If you guys have any dream creatures that you've seen, or any strange dream for that matter, feel free to share them in the comments down below. I would love reading what you guys encountered in the ether. Also, maybe I'll make a part 2 one day if I encounter any more dream monsters. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching till the end. It truly means the world. Like always, see you guys in the next one.